Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It is Friday. It's June 28th. It is 2024. We have a 13-game slate to talk about here on this wonderful Friday. I'm joined by my good buddy, Will Priester, ChiefJustice06. Chief, it must be Friday because we have a ginormous slate with so-so pitching. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, man, I'm doing great. And you're right, Stevie. One of the first things we mentioned actually about the slate was big slate, weaker-ish arms on the slate. Now, look, there's some opportunities here, Stevie, but man, for such a big slate, a lot of the big arms pitched on Thursday. Sale, Flaherty, what was the guy from Baltimore? Jeez, not Garrett Cole. Corbin Burns, and I know he's not like super AC this year, but like a lot of the big name pitching, Stevie, a fair amount on Thursday, split between the two slates. And Friday, I mean, we end up with what I'm going to consider middle tier pitching. It's very interesting.
It's a very interesting slate, and we are bringing back the Morning Grind contest. It is now a free contest where we're going to give out something to the winner of the contest. For Friday's slate, we're going to give out a 3-day pass to RG Premium. If you're already a premium member, you can do a weekend pass for NASCAR. If you're already a NASCAR and premium member, well, we appreciate you, first of all. And you can either gift it to somebody or give it to whoever finishes second. I posted that link right now in the YouTube chat. It'd be in the YouTube comments, and jump in. I'm not going to post it on Twitter. This is just for listeners. I mean, this is for people that are hanging out. I want someone that doesn't have premium to take this down and to take advantage of getting opportunity to have premium for a few days. So see what we have to offer here at RotoGrinders for premium members. What's up, chat? Hope you're having a great Thursday. And we're running late tonight because of me. It's my fault. I had a coaches meeting for volleyball fall club. And we're here, though. I'm excited for this slate because it is so interesting. And we're going to start it off right away. We got Texas at Baltimore, 8.5 total. Baltimore, a 142 favorite. We got Max Scherzer going up against Albert Suarez. Oh, man. Max Scherzer, here we go. Came back through 57 pitches. Looked really good. It was against Kansas City. I don't expect him to throw more than 75 pitches here. I think that's probably on the high end. They're going to be very careful with him. What are your thoughts here when it comes to Mad Max?
I like Max, Stevie. I think he's going to be fine. Long term, 9,100 though, Stevie. A little bit too expensive for my blood in Baltimore. I got to fade Max today, man. I just can't do it. Baltimore has been one of the best teams in baseball, hard hitting, making good contact. Nothing against Max Scherzer, Stevie. I think long term, man, if he's back right, he's a guy that wants to pitch, wants to play. I can't do it against Baltimore with that limited pitch count coming out.
Tough matchup. Yeah, it's a really tough matchup going up against Baltimore, first of all. And then you add in the potential pitch count, and it's just like, hey, I'll put him on the shelf. I will use him eventually, but today isn't the right day to roll out Mad Max. And I'm glad to see him back. I will say, I'm very glad to see him back. Going to the other side, we got Albert Suarez. I think it's kind of interesting that Baltimore is such a big favorite at minus 140 here with Suarez because he really hasn't been pitching good. I don't think this is the slate I want to play Albert Suarez against Texas either.
No, and Steven, they didn't even tempt us. I mean, if they would have given us $5K, I might have considered it. He's 7,200. No way, Jose.
Yeah, below average strikeout guy, 18.8% this season. Does a decent good job of limiting power, but you look at the advanced stats and you're like, is he really limiting power, or is he just generating some good contact, some good soft contact with his cutter and changeup combination? So he's a fastball changeup cutter guy, and he does a good job limiting barrels with it. So I mean, you have that going for you if you're playing him, but I don't think this is the slate you want to play him. I think you want to target some of these Texas bats, starting with our boy Corey Seager. What are your thoughts here on the Rangers?
Yeah, man, big time in the Corey Seager, down to 5,200 now, Stevie. Definitely think this is a spot that we can take some shots. Langford's been pretty much playing every day now. Don't hate him, even though it's righty-righty. Adolis Garcia can hit a home run off anyone. I'm okay with him. Josh Smith is back. They're getting a little bit. They've got a few guys here. Jonah Heim. I'm fine with Texas. I don't think they're a primary stack for me today. But I do, I do really like Corey Seager for sure.
Yeah, I like Corey Seager a lot. Obviously, everyone knows that I like Wyatt Langford. He is hitting better, and it's good to see because he's very talented. I think you could roll like a little 3-man Texas stack, but like Suarez is still doing a good enough job limiting power. What are we doing with Baltimore? It's Max, but we know he's not going to pitch too deep into this game. Do we have some interest in like a Gunnar Henderson, a Rutschman, O'Hearn type plays? Or are we just saying, hey, we're not playing them because we're still going to face Max for 4 or 5 innings here?
Yeah, I think I still want to play Baltimore here, Steve. They're going to roll out the lefties. And look, man, love Max, but Max is still, a fly ball guy. And so, the power in this lineup, I think they could get to him, Stevie. So I think in terms of Baltimore, now this is the spot I'm going to load up. It's 13 games. So they probably are going to have, I'm going to call this a partial bullpen game, Stevie. Wouldn't you agree? Partial bullpen. Maybe Max gets 4 to 5 innings. They see bullpen the rest of the way. So for that reason, when I say I'm not loading up, I'm like, they're not like Baltimore's probably a top 4 stack for me on this slate, but they're definitely not number 1. But full stacking them for sure in a few spots.
Yeah, because if you do think they get to Max, Texas's bullpen is a bottom 5 bullpen. So if you're going to see a lot of the bullpen, we hate bullpen games, but this isn't necessarily like a bullpen game. So I don't mind Baltimore because of how expensive they are. I think you have to stack them. And we'll have to see if Rutschman plays. I know he left with the wrapped hand or whatever.
I think he stayed in the game after he took that ball off the hand, Stevie.
It always hurts worse the next day. Anytime I've ever been hit with a baseball, it has always hurt worse the next day. Doesn't matter. Hard, soft, knee, arm, chest. It always hurts more the next day.
Yeah.
Yankees and Blue Jays, 8.5 total in this game. Yankees a 122 favorite. We got Marcus Stroman against Yusei Kikuchi. Any interest here in Marcus Stroman going up against his former team?
Man, not really, Stevie. I think I need him to be cheaper here. If he's 7,800, I think I'm interested. As much as I don't like the Toronto Blue Jays, I don't think they strike out enough. And this is a game where he's going to have to rely on Babbitt. I know this is the guy that we've seen pick up, 20-plus fantasy points a couple times this season. I just think 8,700 is too expensive for this spot.
Yeah, he's not like he has a huge ceiling. He's not a huge strikeout guy. He'll have a little bit of extra motivation for this game, but he's already pitched against Toronto in Toronto once this year, so it's not a huge deal in my opinion anymore. I'm probably not playing Stroman because of the price. Yusei Kikuchi, other side of this game, I like Kikuchi. I don't like recent Kikuchi. I don't like facing the Yankees, especially now that I think it's a downgrade to pitchers that Stanton's out of the lineup because he was such a huge strikeout guy.
Right.
So what are we doing here with Kikuchi, who has definitely seen a dip here in the last 30 days?
I will be fading Yusei Kikuchi. I'm not targeting the Yankees here. He's 8,500. He does have upside, but I don't think it's worth it on such a big slate, Stevie. Huge slate. I don't feel like I have to reach. I can just target pitchers in much better matchups.
Bats. Any Yankees bats here?
Yeah. I mean, listen, we want to play Aaron Judge. I think at 6,700, he's definitely a guy we want to get in those lineups. I might also mention Anthony Volpe, who's probably going to be leading off, Stevie. No, he hasn't been hot here recently, but I think this could be a nice spot for him also. And we've got Gleyber Torres, who'll be down at the bottom closer to the bottom of the order now. But at 3,900, I'd like that price for him. And I think this is a good spot for the Yankees. So those couple bets I wanted to mention.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at recent form for Kikuchi, you have to have interest in the power righties because that's really where he's been struggling. He's still generating a lot of strikeouts, but he's giving up a ton of barrels. So I think the barrels is kind of what you're targeting here for the Yankees, and obviously it's Judge, Soto. I will say Jones hit up towards the top of the lineup. I think he was like 6. So if you can get Jones there, maybe 2. Any interest in the Toronto bats against Stroman?
It's like this weird conundrum. I think the Toronto guys limit the strikeouts because he doesn't strike out a bunch anyway. I don't think they touch him up too much though. Like I think they score 2-3 runs at the max. I don't like the upside here for Toronto, Stevie. I don't like it.
I said recently, Santi, it's like 15% over the last month for Kikuchi against righties. I didn't say for the season. I said for the last recent. Stroman, where you want to attack Stroman is power lefties. They don't have a lot of them. They do have Varsho. I think Varsho is really interesting in this spot. So now, like Santi's making me look because I feel like I might. Yeah, 14% barrels to righties over the last month. I knew I wasn't crazy, Will. I might be getting old, and there might be more gray in this beard, but I ain't getting crazy yet. Yeah, I mean, for me on Toronto, it's Varsho. I think you want to attack him with lefties. Horwitz. So I think Horwitz at second base is something else you could take a shot on. My favorite game on the slate, Will. Colorado at Chicago White Sox. Yeah, baby. This is baseball at its finest in June. 8.5 total. It's a pick'em game. Dakota Hudson, Drew Thorpe facing off against each other. My question to you is Dakota Hudson cheap enough to roll the dice on him against the White Sox because he's 5,300? Fun questions, right? Only on a 13-game slate.
Dakota Hudson has a K rate of what, like 11?
I don't know if it's that high.
12. I can't do it. So Steve, I kind of have this hard cut rule. I'm probably wrong. It's probably something I should reconsider. But when I'm taking these cheap guys against bad offenses, I still like to have around 18% Ks. Like when you're down at like 11, it just
he's an 11% K rate guy. Yeah,
yeah, it's not enough. It's just not enough. And I'm fully relying on Babbitt to save me. I can't do it, Stevie. Even at 50.
Yeah, but if Babbitt gets you 15 because it's the White Sox, and I mean, we'll see, right? Didn't Gavin Sheets get hurt? I'm pretty sure he got hurt on Wednesday. He left the game or something on Wednesday. Yeah, bruised heel day to day. If Gavin Sheets is out of the lineup too, like you're really just kind of pitching around like 2 or 3 guys. I don't think Dakota Hudson is good at all. I just want to say I think he's a below average pitcher. I don't think he is good at all. He's done a good job this year limiting power to righties. It's a 104 ISO against righties this year, and I don't know, but I would guess half his games are in cores. The 2 guys you're really worried about are Eloy Jimenez and Luis Robert. So, I mean, I don't think it's crazy in a large field tournament to play Dakota Hudson and try to get 15 points out of him today because I think pitching on the slate's awful. I'm just going to say it. I don't think there's like a guy that I want to lock in on this slate. There's my favorite pitcher on this slate is Bailey Ober, and I think that says a lot about where this pitching slate is in general. So I I don't mind taking shots on Dakota Hudson. And the other question is, what are your thoughts on Drew Thorpe on the other side of this game?
Stevie, this is like splitting hairs.
Because he's a 13.5% K rate guy, and his walk rate's higher than his strikeout rate, but he's facing the Rockies.
I can't do it.
This is why I like this game. I think both of these pitchers stink, and I think you could play them both. And like that's why I like this game, because I like madness. I like craziness. It's Friday, you know?
I just, man, there's this. Okay. Well, we'll get there, but like I absolutely play Marsh before I play either of those guys. And Marsh is facing Cleveland. And I mean, the toughest of toughest strikeouts.
Oh, I want jelly beans. I want jelly beans that one of Hudson or Thorpe outscore Alec Marsh. Come on, give me some beans.
Let's do it.
I like the Starburst ones.
I'll send them on down to Florida.
I gotta get the Starburst ones though. That's my only stipulation, because I'm gonna win this. And
there's some other pitchers we're playing the cheaper range of those
yeah,
guys.
like okay, but Drew Thorpe's a prospect. Like, this kid is talented. He has a really good changeup. He has really good command. It hasn't showed yet, right? He has 11 walks through 3 games. He's still getting his footing. But everything you read about him is he has good command, and eventually we're going to see him pitch well. I think he has more strikeout upside than what he's shown. Anytime you have an elite changeup, you have more strikeout upside. I would 100 out of 100 times play Drew Thorpe over Alec Marsh today. So that's fun. And I'm going to enjoy my jelly beans. I might pick them up in person when I go to Darlington, because that's how much I want those.
I like it. That's fun. That's fun.
All right. Well, you don't like either pitcher, so you have to have some interest here in the Rockies bats.
I do. I like both sides of this. I like both sides of this game, to be honest. The Rockies are hashtag not good, and I don't think either of these pitchers are good. So I just plan to play them all. Toglia, Jones, Doyle, you name it. Tovar, McMahon is probably a top option on this slate. Like, I like these guys. Hunter Goodman, Steve. I actually think it's a good spot for offense today, despite this being 2 terrible teams. I like this game, man.
So I'm calling out Yeezy in chat, because like these are our kind of pitchers. Like, these are the types of pitchers that me and Yeezy rock. Like, these are the types of guys that we play. Yeah. Like, I know I don't see Yeezy in chat. I know he was in chat earlier, but like I know that these are the types of guys that me and Yeezy we rock. As far as the Rockies bats, they all kind of stink outside of like McMahon and Tovar.
I know.
That's the 2 guys that I would play in this spot. I mean, they have a combined strikeout rate of like 29% and a combined ISO of like 135, and they're pretty bad. White Sox bats.
Everybody's just piling on me. Everybody says,
listen,
good luck, people. Good luck.
Yeah, but like, if Sheets doesn't play, who are you really worried about? Because like Hudson, even being in cores and being awful, has limited power against righties. Like, who are you like playing here on the White Sox?
Everybody. Jimenez, Pham, Robert, Vaughn.
Famous last words, stacking the White Sox in 2024.
DeYoung. I don't trust this guy. 11% Ks, man. Okay, Steve, I'm gonna say this. I was wrong about some things on the Thursday slate. I was right about some things, but one of the things I mentioned was guys like Miles Mikolas. He wasn't going to keep getting away with 60 pitches in 6 innings. It wasn't going to happen. And what happened today? Got pounded by the Cincinnati Reds. And I feel the same way about Dakota Hudson. Like, this isn't going to continue. Like, these low Ks, he can't keep getting away with being, David Copperfield. This has to catch up to him. And, the White Sox could be the team. I think they're cheap enough. I like them today.
All right. We're moving on. San Diego at Boston, 9.5 total in this game. Sox a 158 favorite. Randy Vasquez against Nick Pivetta. Any interest here in Vasquez?
No.
I'm with you on that one. I think this is a spot I'm going to stay away from on this slate. And I think Nick Pivetta is a little interesting. The problem is, like, the Padres don't strike out, and he's a good strikeout pitcher. They're missing a couple hitters. Like, do we have any interest here in Nick Pivetta?
Wrong slate for me, man. God, I mean, if we were getting Pivetta against Colorado or the White Sox today, he'd be probably the highest owned pitcher on the slate. Wouldn't you guess, Steve? Wouldn't you think? Like, I mean, he'd be the guy. But against San Diego, let me say this. If you're getting 150, I think Pavetta's okay. Do I think his strikeouts are limited today? Yes. But is he one of the higher upside plays on the slate? Yes. Single entry max, 3 entry max, I don't get there. If I'm in 20 entry max, I may not get there. Anything over 20, though, Stevie, I think I'm in the game with Nick Pivetta.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see what the lineup looks like, I think. I want to see what the lineup looks like. Like, with Tatis being in a lineup, I think it's a huge hit to the lineup overall. I mean, Bogarts has been out. Capizano is out. Like, it's not the same lineup as it was to start the season, but it's still pretty low strikeout. Like, they didn't replace like low strikeouts with high strikeouts. I mean, if Bryce Johnson's in there, from what we've seen so far, is he could strike out with the best of them. But still not a high strikeout team. So I just kind of want to see what the lineup looks like for me on Pivetta. I don't think he's necessarily a bad play. Any interest in the Padres bats?
I don't mind some mini stacks of the Padres, Stevie. Like, if you want to put something together like a Profar, Cronenworth, Machado or Reyes or something like that, have at it. But I don't plan on loading up on the Padres here. Probably a really good one-off team. 1 to 3 bats. There you go. I think that's my read on the Padres today.
Yeah, I mean, when Pivetta struggles, it's home runs. So, like, who can hit home runs for San Diego? Profar, Cronenworth, Machado, Jackson Merrill.
Yeah.
That's who I would play. Let's talk Red Sox, though, because...
Ooh, love this spot.
Yeah, Randy Vasquez, 14% K rate guy, gives up a ton of power to lefties, and the Red Sox, they've gotten a little healthy. I mean, Abreu's back, and that obviously helps a lot. But
Duran, I'm telling you,
Emmanuel Valdez is back. So Duran, Valdez, Abreu, Devers, Yoshida, O'Neill. I mean, very interested in the Red Sox on this slate.
Yeah, for sure, Stevie. And, we were kind of talking, beginning of the season, like, if this team gets healthy, look out. And I think, they're about back. I know Casas is still not back completely, but, they got Smith playing. And I think this is one of the top teams on the slate, Stevie, for what it's worth. They've got Duran at 5,700, who's been scorching him and O'Neill for the season. And then they've got, Devers up top, and then outside of that, Steve, they've got 3 and 4K players here. So I like this spot for the Boston Red Sox. I think there's enough balance in the salaries to make it work alongside some of our better pitchers on the slate. So Boston, one of the top stacks for me today. They're definitely my top 4 right now.
All right, moving on. We got Houston at New York facing the Mets. 8.5 total in this game. It's a pick'em game. Blanco, Quintana. Any interest here in Ronel Blanco?
Oh, man, Stevie. Mets are a fairly low strikeout team in general. I don't really want to play Blanco. I think I'm going to take the fade on Blanco today because I don't think this is an upside game. I don't think this is a game where he goes for 30. I think his cap might be 20 today. And I'm okay taking a fade on a $9,800 pitcher, getting me 20 points on this slate.
Yeah, I mean, for me on Blanco, is the pitch count's been nice, right? He's thrown over 90 pitches now in 6 straight starts. The production has been kind of all over the place. It's the price tag. It's 9,800. It's a tough price tag. I will say, like, this game's in Citi Field. It's a great ballpark bump for Blanco. He's done a great job limiting both sides of the plate. He has strikeout ability. His whiff rate is at 27.5%. It's like 29.5% recently. So I could see him striking out 6 to 8 hitters on this slate and limiting the damage because it's in Citi Field. I think he's okay. Like, that's where I'm kind of at. Like, how do I compare him to like Gilbert, Morton, Webb? Like, if I had to rank them, like, he's probably ranked ahead of like Logan Webb for me. It's just, I mean, again, like, I like Ober a lot, and he's $1,000 cheaper than Blanco. So I don't necessarily think Blanco's a bad play, and I just don't know how much I'll get to him on this slate. And then Jose Quintana on the other side, like, what has gotten into this guy recently? Any interest here in Quintana?
I don't care what's gotten into him, Stevie. I'm going to give him the Miles Mikolas treatment. He is not getting rostered. Overall numbers, I mean, the past 2 starts has been amazing, right? He's seen San Diego and the Cubs. Good for you, buddy. He's getting the X button, though.
Yeah, congrats for absolutely dominating those 2 teams. I hope you don't keep it going.
Yeah.
I mean, like, a 17.5% K rate projected lineup here for the Astros.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they look like against lefters. I don't think I could do it with Jose Quintana today. As far as the bats go, I mean, I don't believe in what we've seen recently from him. So, like, I don't mind like Bregman, Altuve, Diaz, Pena, Myers. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I full stack because it's in Citi Field, but I could definitely see myself like mini stacking Houston today.
Yeah, definitely agree with the Houston stack, Stevie. Pena's been one of my favorite guys from Houston this year because he's typically stayed pretty cheap. I'm not expecting home runs, but I am expecting runs in this spot. And so, when I'm getting Altuve at 53, Diaz at 41, like I said, Pena at 39, I like this team quite a bit today. I do plan to have them. They're not in my top 4, but I think many stacks of Houston is a great investment on this slate against Quintana.
All right. Mets bats? Any interest in the Mets bats?
Not really. The Mets are a team I'm for sure probably going to fade today, despite the fact that I don't really want to play much Blanco.
Yeah, Daniel dominating the Tigers and Flaherty getting beat up by the Angels. Exactly what game theory people wanted to see in that one. Pittsburgh at Atlanta, 9 total. Atlanta, a 185 favorite. Martin Perez, Charlie Morton. Martin Perez coming back from the IL, has not pitched for about a month. So, I mean, he did do a 65 pitch rehab assignment. I assume we'll see about 80 to 85 pitches here for Martin Perez. No
Which
chance.
Is about what
though.
he was throwing anyway.
Yeah, no chance for me.
No.
Not playing this guy. No chance.
Not at all.
What are we doing with Morton?
Look, man, as much as I did not want to play Blanco because I felt like the matchup was a little tougher, by golly, man, I'm going to have to play old man Charlie Morton today, Stevie. At 9,500, he's probably one of the better spin-ups on the slate. If he can utilize some run prevention here, he should be able to go 6 innings. He should be able to get 5 to 6 strikeouts. Just don't get touched up early, and I think Charlie Morton's okay. At 9,500, I'm in. I know that's probably unconvincing, but I'm in.
Yeah, I had him written down on my sheet as a potential play today, and the price is just like sticker shock.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm on the fence because of the sticker shock. I mean, Yeah, that's the problem for me is just the
They've
price.
got it priced up because of the slate. That's all it is. It's like
I know it's just
he
he's
would have been
40 years
8,900.
old. He's 40. He's not going to go out and strike out 10 guys. He's 9,500. Like
I know.
He had his ceiling game recently. Like he had his ceiling for the month already. Like I can't expect Charlie Morton, once a month you can get 25 out of Charlie Morton. He's already done that this month. So I mean, what am I expecting here? Like 22 is not enough. I need 25 plus, and he's hit his limit for this month. I mean, when you're 40, you only get one per month. So, I mean, I like the matchup against Pittsburgh. I hate the ballpark. Pittsburgh is a very beatable offense. The bottom half of this lineup is really bad. It's really bad. So, sure, you could do it. I wouldn't talk you off of playing Charlie Morton today.
Stevie.
But
groundbreaking analysis, though, from our boy Derek.
Yeah.
Morton is good every other game. So
he's going to be good this game. Yeah.
But I went back to check, and literally it's like 21, 2, 25, 25, 8. It's so funny. Oh, Derek.
I don't know what to do about Charlie Morton. And it's not like I'm running to play the Pittsburgh bats. You could play O'Neal Cruz. You could play Brian Reynolds. But that's really it for me. I don't have a ton of interest. What are your thoughts on the Pittsburgh bats?
Yeah, I'm not playing Pittsburgh today.
Martin Perez, always a guy that I like to play some bats against, especially this year. Strikeouts way down, getting hit a lot harder this year. He has a 61% hard hit rate against righties. Hey, you know who's right-handed and hits the ball really hard? Marcell Ozuna. I think he's one of the top home run plays on the slate. Really like him, like Austin Riley, Travis d'Arnaud. It'd be interesting to see if d'Arnaud catches with how good Murphy's been recently against lefties. What are your thoughts on your Braves?
Yeah, love Ozuna. Can Adam Duvall hit the baseball some, please? Come on, Duvall. Snap out of it, buddy. We need you. We need you terribly, man. If I had to guess, I feel like Murphy should catch this game. I hope he does. He's 3,100, Steve. We'd be on cheap catcher alert. Matt Olson, 4,800, lefty, don't care. Hasn't been. We haven't seen the monster games consecutively this season. I'm hoping he can start stringing together something, Stevie, and really put this thing, put this team on his back and try to carry us to a championship here. Okay with Ozzie Albies, okay with Austin Riley. Arcia is cheap at shortstop if you feel like you need some salary relief, especially if you're going to stack the Braves. But definitely in on the Braves today.
I'm with you. I'm in on the Braves. They're tilting, but you got to take some shots. We got Cleveland at Kansas City, 9.5 total pick'em game. Tristan McKenzie, Will's favorite pitcher on the slate, Alec Marsh.
Lies.
Let's go Tristan McKenzie first. I mean, I feel like the arm injury is really starting to show. He's trying to pitch through an arm injury, and it's really to the point where it's like, hey, man, should you get it fixed and come back next year at this point? Because you're getting hit really hard. You're not pitching deep into games. You're walking people. Your command has been absolutely atrocious. He's allowed 8 home runs over his last 5 starts. Like, I can't touch this guy right now with the recent statistics for him.
Yeah, man. If you check the x-ray right now, Tristan McKenzie has scotch tape and rubber bands holding that elbow together. Just
get it fixed, man.
Yeah, so no way I'm playing Tristan McKenzie, especially not against Kansas City.
All right, you gotta sell me on Alec Marsh over Dakota Hudson here. I'm gonna throw one stat. My only stat is Cleveland continues to have the lowest strikeout rate in baseball against right-handed pitching. So that's the only stat I'm gonna use to debunk your article or your thought process here. Let's hear the Alec Marsh over my boy Dakota Hudson. My guy's 2K less.
I agree that Dakota Hudson is 2K less. I also agree that I think Alec Marsh is just a slightly better pitcher. And so once again, this wasn't me endorsing Marsh per se. It was more so me saying I would play Marsh in a bad matchup over Hudson and in a good matchup. But jelly beans are still on tap. Don't worry, brother. And I will bring enough for us to share. Hopefully,
I ain't sharing my damn jelly beans with you.
But
what is this? You better bring your own. I'm not sharing nothing. Hey, I've already claimed my win here.
BYOJ.
Yeah.
I really don't plan to play Alec Marsh today. I still think he's better than Hudson, but I'm with you.
What?
Like,
You're not even gonna play him?
Yeah, but
if you don't enter the morning grind contest with the Alec Marsh lineup, what are we even doing?
Well, listen. But that was my point. See, my point was Hudson is so bad. I would take Marsh in a bad matchup.
I know, but you gave me more than him though. I mean, you're giving me a talented prospect too. Like you're not just giving me Dakota Hudson. So I mean, man, listen, I could taste him.
This is what I will do. I will hop in the morning grind game and play Marsh with another guy. That's how I'll play Marsh.
All right, well, I mean, do yourself a favor and make sure you throw that in another contest, because if I'm gonna eat crow and Alec Marsh goes bonkers and you only win RG Premium for 3 days, I will laugh you out of the next podcast we do to each other. Don't make the rookie mistake, but
no. I'll get into some other stuff. But
I'm just saying. All right. All joking aside, we have fun here on the morning grind. Let's talk bats. Alec Marsh is a hittable pitcher. I mean, this is a spot where we're going to see a lot of contact made by Cleveland. He really struggles with like right-handed power, which is really interesting because they're going to throw a lot of lefties at him. But an expensive David Fry doesn't sound crazy on this slate, knowing that Marsh is kind of reverse splitsy. What are your thoughts here on the Cleveland bats?
Yeah, definitely don't mind the Fry call. Once again, Cleveland, you just have to play the lefties though. Like Neal at 5,100, I'm in with him. Obviously you can play Jose Ramirez. Like Jose's been really good recently. They've been batting Jimenez in like the 5 or 6 holes, Stevie. So don't hate that. And you got cheap catcher alert, Bo Naylor, down here at 3K. So he's a guy that you could sprinkle in also. But I'm fine with Cleveland today. Not a top 4 team for me. But this is a team, like you said, low strikeouts, can definitely put the ball in play. I'm okay with rolling out a couple lineups with them in them.
Kansas City bats, what are your thoughts here on the Royals?
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite stacks of the day, Stevie. I know everybody keeps telling me Kansas City's cold, but this is a really good spot for them against McKenzie, who's been struggling. Sal Pal, sign me up. Vinny P, 4,400. Sign me up. Garcia, one of my favorite hitters from this team this season, at 4,600. Bobby Witt at 66. Pretty expensive for him today, Stevie. On a big slate like this, he's 6,600. I think Gunnar Henderson was somewhere near that price also. But, I mean, he's been worth every penny. Then you go to the outfield, you've got Renfroe, you've got Melendez, you could just sprinkle in the cheap guys. But I do like Kansas City against McKenzie today.
Yeah, I like Kansas City against McKenzie too. Like I said, he's really been struggling recently, and you're really concerned about like the highly documented arm injury that he has right now. So
yeah,
that he's had all season, and I don't know why he's trying to pitch through it. We got Cubs at Milwaukee, 8 total in this game. Milwaukee a 136 favorite. We got Jameson Taillon going up against Colin Ray. What are your thoughts here on Mr. Taillon?
Fade.
He's like, I'm out. I'm not playing him against Milwaukee.
Nope.
I think if you're playing like 150, like he could be potentially in your build because he does have like some strikeout upside. Like Milwaukee's a good offense. They're very good against right-handed pitching. Not typically a team I play pitchers against, but recently like Taillon strikeouts and whiffs have been up a little bit. But overall, I'm with you. I don't have a ton of interest in Jameson Taillon. Colin Ray, I think he's okay. Like, but I don't see the upside. Like, nope. I'm with you. I don't want to play Colin Ray today. Colin Ray or Dakota Hudson?
I still take Ray, but
Will's like, I'm not falling for it, Stevie. I'm not. I'm on this hill, and I will stay on this hill. I'd play Dakota Hudson over Colin Ray. Cubs. What are your thoughts here on the Cubs bats?
I'm okay with the Cubs today, Stevie. You know, in playing in Milwaukee, not gonna have to worry about the weather conditions. Is Dansby Swanson going to start hitting baseballs consistently? I mean, he's 3,700. I think this could be an interesting spot for him today. We've got our boy Suzuki. We've got Happ at 3,900, who's going to be hitting on the switch, hitting on the right side today. We've got Morel. We've got Horner. Like that. I think it's a good spot for them. So I really like the Cubs here against Colin Ray.
All right. Colin Ray is a guy that's very hittable with the lefties. So, I mean, anytime we get a guy like this, I really like playing like Michael Busch, Bellinger. I don't mind like the righty Morel play. Yeah. I think the Cubs are interesting as a mini stack today. They're not going to be a full in stack for me. Going to the other side of this game, I mean, Tyon's done a great job recently of limiting power to lefties. Any interest in the Milwaukee bats?
Yeah, I think Milwaukee for me, Steve, is a stacker fade. I don't think I want off Milwaukee because I feel like if they're going to win you a slate, like they're going to string together some runs and then the home run will come.
Stolen bases, scoring runs, like RBIs. So, that's why I love stacking this team is because like you need the whole stack to work for the team to work.
Yeah. So I think you just stack them and keep it moving here against Tyon, who's very hittable. You know, we've seen him kind of implode somewhere between the third and fifth inning a fair amount of games, Stevie. So I once again, like the Milwaukee stack as a whole, definitely think you need to be, you know, stringing them together if you want to take them to the tournament with them.
All right. We got Cincinnati at St. Louis. 8.5 total. My eyes are watery because I yawned. St. Louis, a 118 favorite. Frankie Montas, Andre Palante. Any interest here in Montas?
Stevie, I don't want to play Montas, but at 6,500 against St. Louis, I mean, if I got 15 points, I think I'd be fine. I think he's getting played because this slate's just terrible. And I trust him more than Hudson. And his K rate's awful this season too. So, you know, not to bury the lead there. But I trust him a little bit more than Hudson. So I will have a sprinkle of Montas in my builds.
What are we doing, Will? Like, where is the hate coming from for Hudson today? Man, like, you're pounding my guy. Like, the Cardinals left-handed hitters have been crushing the ball over the last month. I mean, this is not the same team. And Montas is awful against lefties. Like, at least Hudson is facing the White Sox. They stink. I mean, you got to back up off my boy Dakota Hudson. I know Dakota Hudson listens to the podcast. He's going to be so pumped up to pitch today because the way that you're like smacking him over here.
Listen, Montas is terrible. But
I'm not playing Frankie Montas today. All that to say that I'm not playing him. Any interest in Palante on the other side? Palante?
Oh God, Stevie, can this slate in, please? Like where we are going to get to some pitching closer to the end. At least one guy for sure. I'm not playing Palante today either, man. It's just, man, what a rough slate for pitching. Not doing it.
Can't stop yawning. I will say, like, if the lineup is as bad as it's been recently, you could potentially take shots on this guy. He's a ground ball pitcher. He can potentially limit the damage. There's a lot of ground ball hitters on this team. This team has a ton of talent. They're young, so I could see it going either way. I don't think he's a crazy play. I'd play him over Montas, but I don't think that's actually saying much because I'd play a lot of pitchers over Montas today. Bats, Cincinnati Bats. Any interest in the Reds? And like we should mention, like Candelario and Fraley have both been out of the lineup recently. And that's one of the reasons that I was like, Palante is interesting. Because like it's a calf for Fraley, it's a hamstring for Candelario. I saw Stevenson got scratched on Thursday because his
Paternity,
child.
bro. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not going to play. I mean, he's going to be out
he's not,
for 3 days. So this lineup could be really, really bad. Is kind of what I was getting at.
Well, Steer, we're going to need you to steer the ship. I don't hate Steer. Jonathan India, Stevie, he keeps producing now. I think we're about 12 days in or 12 games in of him getting hits. Like, they're starting to pile up. He's still under 4K. Hot dogs. Got your hot dogs. Get them while they're hot. India's been playing really well. So 3,700. Don't hate him. Martini probably cracks the lineup again today at 3,600. I'd be playing him as well.
India was my under 4K guy to get 2 hits. So there you go. He did it again.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis, I mean, I'm going to keep playing the Cardinals, especially these lefties against Montas. This is an excellent spot for them. Montas struggles with left-handed power. It's been hot in St. Louis. We should get good hitting conditions in this game. I mean, very, very, very interested in Gorman, Burleson, Donovan. I think the Cardinals are really great today.
I love it. And I actually don't have anything to add to that, Steve. I definitely think the lefties are big time in play against Montas.
All right, we're moving on. We got Detroit at LA taking on the Angels. This game has a 9 total. Detroit is a slight favorite. It's Kenta Maeda day against Zach Plesac. Any interest here in Kenta Maeda?
No, can't do it, Stevie. Maeda just hasn't been good this season. And if you don't believe me, Stevie, here's something interesting. I didn't realize this, Stevie, until I actually looked at it. But this man is averaging 7 fantasy points per game this season. 7. That's not cutting it. Even at 7K, Stevie. I mean, he needs to get us to 12. He's averaging 7 fantasy points. That means he's getting touched up, and there's not enough upside. I can't play him.
Oh, sorry, I got distracted. My wife is asking me to go to Target with her tomorrow. Anybody that's married knows how those. We got to go to school supply shopping, but anybody that's married knows what go to Target means. It means you're spending money anytime your significant other asks you to go to Target.
Listen, my wife got me this week, Stevie. She said, "Hey, she wanted to like get something done," and I was like, "All right, I'll take care of it." and then today, Stevie, she says, "Look, I know you just did this, but I just did this." I was like, "Babe, it's okay. Whatever you need, we're good." Like, she just turns on the charm, and I just melt in her hands.
Oh, we love it. We love it. I'm not playing Kenta Maeda today. Yeah. And then Zach Plesac on the other side. I mean, yeah, happy wife, happy. Derek gets it. Happy wife, happy life. I mean, after watching Davis Daniel kind of mow through Detroit, do we have any interest in Zach Plesac today?
Gosh, man, I'm not playing Zach Plesac, bro. I can't do it. Oh, I can't do it. Listen, so C4 Kami, here's what you'll learn, man. The older you get and the more you have your family, it's a welcome thing, man. Like, Mom, I do whatever I want to do. My wife doesn't care, but I take great pleasure in being able to take care of her, and that's where the love kicks in, man. The love kicks in. So,
it's all about love. Hey, Zach Plesac has a 5% K rate through his first 2 starts.
Yeah, come on, you already know, and he's 6,900.
He was. Hey, would you play Dakota Hudson or Zach Plesac?
Dakota Hudson.
Oh, I mean, it only took. Yeah, I'm not playing Zach Plesac today. Let's talk bats for Detroit. Riley Green, a phenomenal spot for him against Zach Plesac. He's 4,900. I think he's a guy that's like super playable. Vierling is super playable here. McKinstry, of all people, have been hitting. He's been hitting really well. What are your thoughts here on Detroit?
Yeah, man. I think Detroit ended up being a pretty nice stack, or a stack that everybody wanted to play the night before. And I think the last I saw it, it really wasn't coming together, but I think it gets pleasing. This could be the spots. I mean, you got Green, you got Vierling. You should have some Colt Keith mixed in there, McKinstry. Like there's going to be some cheap bats available. And I think, this could be a cheap stack that you could mix in with some other big stacks. So really, 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 really like the Detroit Tigers as a cheap stack to plug in.
Angels. We don't typically like playing Angels. It's a good spot for the Angels against Kenta Maeda. Any interest here in the Angels?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting Willie Calhoun at 2,900. Like, man, this is cool, right? Getting him squeezed in there. I'm really okay with any of these Angels, Stevie. O'Hoppe, Miguel Sano's back, by the way. Probably going to strike out a couple of times, but this could definitely be a spot where he hits a home run against Kenta Maeda. That's definitely a possibility. Rengifo is 5,100. My gosh, I'm not playing 5,100 Rengifo, but I don't mind these cheap guys.
Yeah, I mean, the Angels are a team that I don't necessarily get excited about playing. I think you play like Ward, O'Hoppe, Adele, Moniak. I mean, Moniak's cheap at 2,700. I like playing that guy. Oakland at Arizona, 8.5 total in this game. Arizona 152 favorite. We got JP Sears and Slade Ciccone. Any interest here in JP Sears?
No and no.
Yeah, I mean, just been awful recently. I will say, like, Arizona, a team that I don't necessarily want to pick on a lot with left-handed pitching. Yeah, not gonna play Ciccone today or Spears. I don't know if I'll play Ciccone either, but it's more of a pitch count thing. Like his pitch count has been all over the place recently. I don't trust Ciccone. Like I know what I'm getting out of Dakota Hudson. I'm gonna get 85 to 95 pitches. Ciccone, like last time out, he threw 46 pitches. And like I don't know, it wasn't
70
really
the game
like,
before that, 75 the game before that.
yeah, it's like a pitch count thing for me.
Yeah, I'm not playing Slade for what it's worth.
Bats, Oakland Bats, nice ballpark upgrade for Oakland. I think you could take, some shots on a guy like Roker, Blade at 36, Langeliers at 37. All I think playable in this spot.
Yeah, not stacking Oakland for what it's worth, but I don't mind the one-off situation with Oakland. Like this is where I think, Oakland helps you make that money, man. When you're able to just kind of one-off some of these guys. If I had to choose one guy, it would probably be JJ Bleday, but generally speaking, once again, Oakland's just a one-off team for me, not stacking them at all.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to choose one guy, it'd probably be Langeliers for me.
Gotcha.
He's the guy that I really like. Arizona, I mean, Ketel Marte he's just absolutely crushing left-handed pitching this season. He's 5,100, but 380 ISO, 458 WOBA, under 15% Ks against JP Sears. Like Christian Walker, we know how good he is against lefties. What are your thoughts here on the Arizona bats?
Yeah, fully on board with you on Marte and Christian Walker. I mean, that's a two-man that we could definitely get behind. Don't hate Lourdes Gurriel either at 4K. And, man, I think Randall Grichuk should crack the lineup today, Stevie, so he would be a cheap piece that we could plug in there with those guys as well. But definitely fine with Arizona against Sears at home.
Blaze Alexander, if he cracks the lineup, is another guy you could potentially take some shots on here. Yeah, every time we say Blaze Alexander, all I can think of Blaze and the Monster Machines, and that's when everyone knows that I'm a dad. Minnesota,
I get it.
At Seattle, 7.5 total in this game. Seattle, a 130 favorite. We got Bailey Ober, Logan Gilbert facing off against each other. We kind of hinted at it already. Bailey Ober, he's my favorite pitcher on the slate. I think he has the highest ceiling on the slate when we're looking at just pure ceiling. Gets a fantastic matchup going up against the highest strikeout team in baseball. And Ober is a good pitcher. 25% Ks on the season, 13% swinging strikes, 25% whiffs, and he's been pitching a lot better over the last 30 days. Strikeout wise, I know he's had some rough start, but strikeout wise, love Bailey Ober today. Top pitcher on the slate for me.
Yeah, man, 8,800. This is what we've been waiting for, Stevie. Probably this pitching matchup is probably the best pitching matchup of the slate. Over at 8,800, definitely in play. We've seen Seattle strike out with the best of them. I mean, Stevie, even like just earlier this week, I think we saw Ryan Pepiot hit this team for 7 or 8. Like it's just the strikeouts are there, and you definitely want to take advantage of it. No argument. Love Bailey Ober. Definitely a top play for me also.
What are we doing with Gilbert on the other side of this game?
If I'm spinning up, this is the guy I'm going to, Stevie. And it's not necessarily because of the strikeouts, it's because of the efficiency, his ability to eat through innings, his ability to get ground balls, his ability to not get blown up too much, Steven. I love Minnesota. Minnesota's probably been one of my favorite teams to stack this year because they've typically been very affordable, Stevie, and have some power. Strikeouts have come down a bit throughout the season. But Gilbert at 9,900, if I've got to spend up on one guy all the way up, I'd play him over Morton. I'd play him over Blanco. Definitely my favorite big spin because of all those factors.
Fair enough. I don't hate Gilbert. I think he's a great play. It's just Minnesota's been tough on righties recently, man. This is a team that is definitely not a pushover team by any means. So I think the matchup is a lot tougher than we want it to be. But I could see playing some Logan Gilbert today. Like, I'm not running to play the Minnesota bats. Like, I have no interest in the Twins bats. It's a 13-game slate. He's one of the best pitchers on the slate. Like, I don't have to overthink this. I'm not playing the bats here.
Yeah, I'm not playing either of these teams, so we are good.
All right, other side? Oh, you said you're not playing either side. I don't have any interest in Seattle either. Yeah, yep. No interest for me in Seattle. Like, who do you play? Like, Luke Raley, the lefty. Canzone is back. Maybe like one of those two one-offs, but
I mean, he gives up 2 solo shot home runs, but he pitches 6 innings and gets 8 Ks. But nobody's gonna care. Like,
and the only like contest that I'm like remotely even thinking about playing those guys is like a 4-game late slate or whatever, how many games it is on the late slate. Like, it's not I'm not playing those guys on the 13-game slate. What's the late slate? 4 games. Yeah, nailed it. Dodgers Giants is where we finish out. It's a 7.5 total. It's a pick'em game, which I thought was interesting. Landon Knack against Logan Webb. A lot of respect for Logan Webb being a pick'em in this spot. No chance you could play Landon Knack. Like, you like the matchup, but the dude is throwing 60 to 70 pitches a start. Like, he's 8K. Like, there's no ceiling at that price point at this, like, the amount of pitches he's throwing.
Absolutely. Full fade. See what I mean? Like you said, definitely a PC issue. If he was 6,500, Stevie, I'd be in.
Yeah. If he was throwing 85 to 90 pitches, I'd be in.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's the price point for the pitch count and the ceiling.
Yeah. And for those that maybe didn't process it that way, Stevie, an extra 15 pitches in my mind is an extra inning.
An inning or 1 or 2 strikeouts, I mean, any interest here in Logan Webb?
Stevie, I'm on the fence with Logan Webb today because I feel like he's got one of the longest leashes on this slate. Like, if he's pitching well and he hasn't gotten touched up, he's going 7 innings. Like, if everything breaks his way. Dodgers lineup is definitely not the lineup we've seen all season with Betts out and Muncy out. But obviously they've still got other guys like Freeman, Ohtani, Teoscar Hernandez is back. But then the rest of this lineup, Will Smith, I think is Will Smith back? I think he just sat. Yeah, so Will Smith will be back. And then the rest of this lineup is so cheap. I think I play Webb because I trust the leash, fully understanding that this might not be a 6 to 7 strikeout spot. This would probably be more like a 4 to 5 strikeout spot, but hoping he gets through 7 innings pretty clean. And I think that's why I play Webb today. I trust the leash they're going to give him. And he's at home.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always interesting, like what you're gonna do on what you're gonna do against the Dodgers with pitchers that are actually like decent. Um, so like it's one of those things where I could totally see playing Webb and large field stuff, but man, 9,300, it's a really fair price tag, and that's why you would potentially take shots on him.
Yeah.
Bottom half of the Dodgers lineup not as strong right now because they're dealing with some injuries at the top half of the lineup. So, any interest in the Dodgers bats?
I mean, I don't mind one off, Stevie. I'm actually not stacking the Dodgers today. So if you want to play Ohtani, be my guest. I don't think I'm going to play Ohtani today. I mean, despite the fact that he's just been crushing it, like Stevie, you almost forget he does pitch the baseball as well. But because he's hitting the ball so good as he goes through his full recovery and so forth and so on. But I don't think the more I think about it, I don't think I'm playing the Dodgers, man. I think I'm going to let it ride. Yep.
I don't think I'm going to play the Dodgers either. Any interest here in the Giants?
No. Oh, not playing them either.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to get excited about in this game.
I feel like we're front loaded for offense in this slate, and then back loaded for pitching. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's a really weird dynamic with this particular slate, where it's a lot of times it's the other way around.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. So, so we talked about like showing what I'm looking at as we're going through the morning grind, and we talked about this in a production meeting this week. And Devin had the idea of like going over like what a core would look like for me here night before. So we went through the slate pretty quick. So I was just going to really quickly go through like what a core would look like for me on this slate. And my core, I think, is going to be St. Louis, around like Corey Seager. Like I absolutely want Corey Seager in my lineups today. So let us know what you guys think about this. But what are your thoughts, Will? Like Cardinals with Thorpe. Thorpe, this is the morning grind contest. Like Thorpe wouldn't be a core play for me. It'd be Ober. Ober St. Louis is like where my initial lean is on this slate.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it, and I mean, I think that's fine. But I mean, once again, St. Louis is also cheap, Stevie. So like, I see Burleson there, Arenado, Gordon.
They're all like 4K.
Yeah. So I mean, that really, that really opens up.
And like
a lot.
When you start building out the stack, because I do a lot of 5-man stacks, like Donovan's 37, so like potentially adding Donovan to the stack, like you feel really good about like a 4 or 5-man St. Louis stack today. So my initial thought process on this slate is going to be St. Louis. So if you guys want us to keep doing this kind of stuff when we get done with podcasts and breaking it down, let us know. Let us know in the comments below. Let's play the morning grind game, and then we'll get out of here, Will. Under 8K to go 6 or more strikeouts. Who do you got today?
Oh man, Stevie, I don't feel like we have a whole lot of guys here, and that sucks. But we've got to pick somebody, and I think that someone for me is none other than I don't like anyone to get 6 or more strikeouts. I was going to go with Marsh to stay on brand. He's facing the lowest strikeout team on the slate. Steve, I don't like.
So my argument about him facing that team and playing Dakota Hudson had validation? What?
No.
He's like, I can't admit it. I'm going to go Thorpe to get 6 or more strikeouts today. I think he has some potential. 5 strikeouts against Detroit last time out, and hopefully he can get going as far as command, because command definitely there. So over 8K to score under 15. Who is your bust today?
I think we got a lot of options here, Steve. I think I'm going to land on Jameson Taillon against Milwaukee.
Taillon?
Yep.
Man, every bit of me wants to say Max Scherzer, so I'm going to go Max Scherzer, and it's a pitch count thing more than anything else. So give me Mad Max.
Second choice.
Yeah.
He was my second choice.
Over 4K to hit a home run. Who's going yard today?
Ooh, buddy, Stevie, I think we've got a lot of guys. I'm not going to take your guy because I feel like we may be somewhere close to the same guy. I'm going Devers today, man, against Vasquez. I like Boston a ton. Give me Devers.
I am not taking the guy you thought I was going to take. Give me Riley Green to hit a home run today.
I did not anticipate that. Love that call.
You thought I was going to say Corey Seager.
I did.
Yeah. I don't like Seager a lot, but Riley Green, the guy for me today. Under 4K to get 2 hits. Who's a cheap bet that you like today?
I like a ton. I think we might end up on the same. We might have ended up on the same cheap bet. I'm going Ian Happ at 3,900 against Colin Ray. I think Happ's heating up here. Give me a Happ for 3,900.
I'm going to take Burleson against Frankie Montas. Really like my boy Burleson, Donovan, like all these guys, man. St. Louis. A stack to score 6 or more runs. Will, who do you got?
I'm going to plant my flag with Boston, man. I really like them today. Going with the Boston Red Sox.
Give me the St. Louis Cardinals. Man, I picked on this team a lot to start the season, but they have been a much better team recently. So I'm going to go St. Louis to get the job done. And again, like they're going to be the stack that I kind of build around in my main lineup today. Really, really like the Cardinals. So if you want to take down the morning grind game, you're going to have to come through my St. Louis Thorpe team, because that's what's coming at you. Will, any player props or pick'em plays that you like or will be looking for on this slate?
Yeah, man, I think we're both in the same thing. We're getting Bailey over at 6.5, minus 125 right now. It looks like it probably hasn't come out on Hard Rock, because I know you got to use Hard Rock. But I think at 6.5, Stevie, I mean, you get anything around minus 120, I think that's good for over today. So I like that a ton. And then in terms of money line stuff, now hear me out here, Stevie. Very interesting game, in my opinion, because of how they have this thing shaken out. But why in the world is Blanco a minus 115 favorite against Quintana, even though Houston's on the road in Citi Field? I think that's wrong. I think this should be somewhere near 140, 150, 160. Give me Houston Astros money line here at minus 115. Those are the best odds right now.
Yeah, I think there's no props out that I saw that I liked. I wrote down the Bailey over. Check that one because I'm with you. I like that line, so I would bet that for sure. I want to see like what kind of props Charlie Morton gets, because I feel like he might be overvalued for the matchup today. So if he comes in at I think he'd have to come in at 6.5. I don't know if it comes in that high. But if they bump him because of the matchup, I could see myself getting under 6.5 on Morton. And he's a guy that can easily get that, but I'm hoping I can get under 6.5 for Charlie Morton. I'll be checking that. And I have been hammering Tristan McKenzie's under outs props because
he's at 15 and a half. Is that where he is today again?
It's not up yet, but as soon
that's
as
probably
that,
where it will be. That's most likely where it will be.
That's what it's been recently. His last 5 or 6 starts. I've been hammering this, and I think I've hit it like 3 out of the last 5 times I've bet it. 3 out of the last 4 times. So he's hurt. He's not 100%. And if it comes in at 15 and a half, I'm going to bet the under on this one. So I would love it if it came in at 16 and a half, but I highly doubt it does. So, and as far as like just overall bets, nothing really jumping off. Anytime you can get the Dodgers at a pick 'em, I feel like you could bet the Dodgers against anybody at a pick 'em and feel pretty good about it. So maybe Dodgers at minus 110 money line. I'm going to bet that now actually because it's the team's too good. Will, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Negative. Thanks for hanging out with me, brother, or me hanging out with you, and the listeners hanging out with us. And hopefully everybody makes some money over the weekend.
Yeah, I know it's past your bedtime. I'm sorry again that we were running late. Hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. Truck race Friday night, Xfinity race Saturday, Cup race Sunday. They're in Nash Vegas, one of my favorite towns in the United States. I'm really sad that I'm not going to be up there this weekend. I had all of the intentions to be going to that race, and then my daughter has volleyball tryouts. So, yeah, come hang out in the NASCAR chat on Discord. That's going to wrap it up here for the Morning Grind. We're back Monday. Make sure you join the Morning Grind contest and try to win that free 3-day pass of Premium. It's a free contest. I'll post it again here in chat right now, and then it'll be in the comments pinned on YouTube. Appreciate everyone. Back Monday. Have a fantastic weekend.